Hello, this is Craig Mertens, Director of Product Education for Incavo, the parent company of GraphicsFlow. Today's class, we're going to focus on the GraphicsFlow art portal. And it's also going to give us a really good opportunity to kind of do some foundational training on the entire platform, but we'll also feature the new stock art customizer. And one of the things that you are going to notice, if you're used to the old user interface from GraphicsFlow, we did a pretty major update earlier this week. And we did a overhaul of the general user interface for when you log in. And if you're like me, it's probably going to take you a little while to get used to it. But let me kind of explain what we did. We really put the focus on artwork by moving the stock art to the top. But we found that that's the place that people go to most frequently. And it just makes sense to put the stock art functionality at the very top when you log in. And so now you'll notice design ideas is right here. And I noticed they dropped in a day early. They dropped in the art drop for April, which I really, really like. There's some super duper cool stuff in the April art drop. So pretty pleased with that. So at the very top, you'll have design ideas followed by clip art. And we're always sorting from newest to last. So if you want to know where these design elements are coming from and why they're at the top of your clip art, it's because those were taken from the design templates here, the parts and pieces, and because they're the first things or the last things added, that's where they're going to go. So that looks a little bit familiar. That looks a little familiar. That's where those, that pelican's pretty cool looking. So that's where those are coming from. And then obviously you have your fonts here. So we reordered. So stock art was really kind of the focus, followed by my art. And then the other thing we did, which I thought was kind of cool, is people said, hey, where's my art portal? How do I get to my art portal? So guess what we did? We added a little button here. It says copy art portal link, view art portal, and then even a link to like manage your art portal settings. And there's a dedicated link to your portal. So if you want to see what's going on in your portal and you click on that link, it'll open a separate tab where you have your art portal, which is what we're going to be focusing on today in the class, which is art portal. I think I'm going to move to full screen view, a little bit better recording experience. So it's going to hit F11. And we are in my art portal. So let's talk about what the art portal is, how you can use it, why we did it. I think I can lay some kind of foundational understanding of why we came up with the art portal. This was a dream of mine back in the the days when we started developing content for the apparel decoration, sign making, and personalization industry. It's a dream of mine. That we would have an easy way for our clients to interact with artwork and share artwork with their customers. And kind of the low-tech way we used to do it was back in the early days. We would have actually printed books, and those were in the form of 3-ring binders. Many of you probably remember those. Originally, they were black and white, and then they evolved into full-color printed binders. There was quite a bit of an investment expenditure in producing those with stock graphics collections. And one of the things that people liked is like if you had a brick and mortar and you wanted to have a customer come in, you could sit them down and they could flip through the books. And in a shop environment, your employees could flip through the books as well. But it was pretty cumbersome. And if there's something, I knew there's that really cool eagle mascot in there, and you'd be digging through a lot of pages. And I joked with the client that says, why don't you bring those books back? And I said, listen, there's like 108 titles. If you stacked them all, they're about half-inch thick. If you stacked them all up on top of each other, it's 5 or 6 feet tall. I said, wouldn't it be easier just to be able to go and type in lacrosse into a database and find all your lacrosse? I don't even have to spell the whole thing out and just find all your lacrosse designs. Yeah, this makes more sense. This is much more convenient. And as an interim step, we made the printed books PDF files. Again, they weren't searchable. So they look cool, but they weren't searchable. And so when you're working with a client, and you're trying to engage them in a creative process, you have to have an easy way to locate the artwork and get ideas in front of them, because our business is graphics driven. It's driven by the retail trends, what people are seeing on the Final Four. You'll have all the somebody's going to win the Final Four on Monday. They're going to have championship shirts. People see that graphic and they're going to be like, hey, it'd be cool if I had something that looked as cool as that. I'm not going to guarantee the graphics going to look great. Now they don't always look good. But I'm gonna take a flyer and say it'll probably be something pretty impressive. So people, those graphical trends are what is driving consumer habits. So So people want to see artwork and graphics that is as cool as what they're seeing in a college bookstore, or when they go into a pro shop, or when they're going into a resort giftware store at the Four Seasons. That's the, in a sense, kind of the benchmark. And so being able to get those ideas in front of our customers was really our vision. We wanted a quick way for you to collaborate with your customers and get ideas in front of them. Why? Because the most expensive job you do in your business is the one where the customer goes to one of the random website of the week or one of the online design websites, either designs it themselves or screen captures something, sends it to you in an email and says, this is what I want, or I want something like this. So what you're having to do is you're having to resuscitate what they provided you. That creates a lot of legal issues because you can't use exactly the same graphic with exactly the same clip art. There's copyright issues. I suppose, your tolerance for that is going to be dependent on a couple things. Number one, your moral flexibility. You are stealing when you take other people's artwork without copyright permission and completely duplicate it. You are stealing. I always hear this comment of, it's on the internet, it must be free to ever. No, somebody owns that art and they're not giving you permission to utilize that art. Some people are more comfortable than others doing that. I'm not going to pass judgment. That's kind of on you. But there's another whole element to that too, which is you're having to recreate other people's art. So you have to have the production skill to do that. And that's really kind of a challenge for a lot of folks, and it's very time consuming and it's very inefficient. And so I was talking to a client that was, when I was at the trade show, and they said that's pretty much the way they get all their art is people just go to the internet and they just find stuff and they bring it in. And I was talking to actually the artist and the business owner, and the artist, in a very, I thought, professional way, shared her frustration with the boss really not understanding how much work it took for her to recreate that stuff. And even had a piece of clip art that was kind of close. There's still a lot of work, and she was processing, set up to 30 orders a day. She couldn't keep up. And so Craig to the rescue. I kind of stepped in on her behalf, and it kind of explained to the business owner the kind of inefficiencies of doing it that way. And the bottom line is this: the reason that your customers will go and do that is that you can't provide them with an alternative. And that was the entire point of Art Portal, is to provide you with an alternative way of interacting with your clients on artwork. Why would they have to go to one of these random websites to look for designs when you have thousands of them available to them on a website in a portal where they can go in and just click on the design, tell you what they want. So I need to change this to whatever they wanted to, Central Cougars, right? My favorite high school in Navy and Orange, right? So here they go. They've picked out what they wanted. They've added it to a cart. They're submitting their design request. Here, we'll go ahead and submit that. And I need this tomorrow, right? In the modern economy, the companies that make it easiest for people to purchase are going to do the best. It's fact. If you make it easy for people to buy from you, you're going to sell more. If in the case of you're dealing with a human resources manager in a business, the human resources manager, last thing in the world they want to have to do is bother with buying merch, right? So if you can kind of narrow down the scope, of or streamline that experience for them, part of the experience is the experience of selecting art. You just made a new friend. If you're dealing with coaches or booster parents, last thing in the world a coach wants to deal with is having to, pick out artwork. They know what they want when they see it, but they don't want to be the designer, and they don't want to, most coaches aren't going to want to go through this drawn out process of picking out art out. The last thing I want to do is involve the people that are on the team, oftentimes young people, in, let's decide on what we want. It's about, no, they don't want to do that, because then it just creates a lot of uncertainty and there's a lot of drama. And I can speak from being a part of many of the collaborative buying decisions for various philanthropic organizations and or as a coach, that is chaos. And so what they want is to say, I just want to look at some cool stuff and say, hey, this is the cross design that I want. Can you guys mock that up? Or maybe a couple ideas. And so that was the whole point of the portal, is a collaboration tool to make it easier for your customers to buy from you. And we're going to talk about promotion and marketing and how all that kind of ties together. But just wanted you to understand why we did this. We wanted to create this art collaboration tool. So all this great content that you guys have, you can get it in front of your customers versus having to, flip through PDF binders online or, a stack of printed binders. This is just a very modern way to do it. And it's also very searchable. And so one of the things that's neat, you might not know this, I just typed in lacrosse, but you could certainly go to sports categories and select lacrosse as a subcategory if you wanted to. But you can also now subdivide this by style. So I can say, hey, I just want to see style lacrosse designs that maybe incorporate crests. There you go. Now you got crest-related lacrosse designs, and maybe to that search, who knows, we might have one that has flames. I doubt it. But, no, nothing in flames in there. But we probably have one that has a mascot in it. Let's see. Yeah, well, the same one. But let's see what we got for patches. Oh, that looks cool, but I don't really need flames or crests. It's just so easy to find things now. And, the customer really, a lot of clients really like the process of kind of shopping and that shopping experience. Now they're shopping for graphics. And you gave them one more reason for them to engage with you, which to me is really, really smart. So what happened to that design request? Where did it go? Well, guess what? You got an email that said the customer submitted a design request. It has a link to this design request. So when you click on that link, this is going to pop up. And then you're going to click on it and you're going to be like, okay, what's going on here? Okay, so I need to change this to Central Cougars and navy and orange. Okay, do I know who this is? Yep, I know who that is. We're just waiting for this to come in for a PO. So this is the art for PO number. There you go. That's my imaginary. And I'm going to assign this to my salesperson. So I'm going to assign it to this salesperson. And all of a sudden that note, we just fired off a note to that salesperson. It's an internal note, and that person is going to get, whatever I put in there. Now, if it's an artist, then I would just go over here and assign it to the artist and say, hey, I need you to mock this up on, the following 3 products. Can you mock this up on a t-shirt and dry fit hoodie? Okay, so they just got an email. So we're collaborating internally using this messaging system, which is really cool. And, if it's just a random person off the internet, guess what? I just got a lead. So I have a lead that I can follow up, and it is hilarious what people do when they just randomly find my website and they go in and check it out. There's all the guy thinks I'm in the chirp business. Spent a lot of time and detail coming up with 3 designs and not 1 design, not what they wanted. And then I have to, find a customer that I feel like I can, get that over to. And also, you'll notice there's a little indicator saying there's an internal note that was added to this. So what do we do with this design? Well, in the not so distant past, what you would have done is you would have downloaded an Adobe Illustrator file into Adobe Illustrator and manually edited the file. Or what you would have done is you would have downloaded a CorelDRAW file into CorelDRAW and edited the file either manually in Corel or using the Smart Designer add-on software for Corel. But, we don't have to do that anymore, because all I got to do is just click on this little link right here. And you'll notice it says customize. This is the new stock art customizer. And so what I would do is I would click on customize, and we're going to kind of see what the lay of the land on the graphic is. And I could say 2023, but, I might just change this to CHS too. I could do that. So I'm going to hit CHS in there, or 2023. It's up to me. Or I can just delete that whole part. I don't have to have it at all and just turn it off. Now you just got the sticks in the design. Or if we like the 2023 idea, we can just go back to that. And we're just editing this file in the cloud, on the fly. And same thing over here. We're just going to type in Central Cougars. And we're going to hit enter. There you go. You got Central Cougars. And from here, we just have a tremendous amount of latitude in what we can do here. Like, for instance, the lacrosse sticks, I could change these out with another lacrosse stick. But what I might do here in the lacrosse sticks is just click on the little edit button and maybe reduce the size of this a little bit, maybe go down to like 70%. And we can reduce that, and then I have to recenter it. Or what I could do, and I'm going to undo that. I don't know. Do I like that? Not sure. Because you can see, like, you can kind of sort of see the letters a little bit better. So, it's kind of up to me if I want to, deal with that, but could replace it too. So I could go over here and just say replace, and we'll go over here and maybe put the cougar mascot in there instead of the sticks. So I could type in cougar, right? Over here, and we'll put in a cougar mascot, a little cartoony guy if we wanted to. Or, let's see, this one's kind of cool, like that one. So we can apply that. And then all I have to do is just recenter this. Tell you the truth, I don't really like those changes. So, if I don't really like the changes, you know what I do? Reset the design. And start from scratch. I kind of like the original one better. So this is just online editing. This is all this is. It just doesn't take any time at all. I just type in the new copy, hit enter, and I'm done. So in terms of colors, this is one of the really neat things about the customizer. It is displaying the colors. And so if you're a screen printer and you're trying to limit this design down to a set number of colors, it's really easy to do that because I can consolidate this design right here. I've got this extra kind of accent color in here. If I click on this accent color, all the other colors in the design are listed out right here. And if I just want to make that white to consolidate the colors down a little bit more, boom, I just did that. Now it's a 3-color design. So I have to deal with 3 colors. Now we needed to localize the colors, and I think we said we're going to do, let's see, navy and orange. I think I'm going to mix the colors up. I think I'm going to make this navy. I'm going to hit on this color right here, and I'm going to make that the navy. We might not like it. That looks pretty good. And then we're going to make this color right here, the orange. See if we like it. I think it's going to be cool. Got it. And then, if I want to, and I want to go in and make additional changes, like, change up the background color, whatever, I still have the latitude in here just to change this too, which that should be navy, I think. Yeah, there it goes. I think it looks good. So I'm going to hit apply and we're done. So think about the workflow. Customer went to the website, they picked out the graphic, generated an email to you with a little nudge. That email directed you to the art request. You clicked on the descriptions for the art request. You had the description of what they wanted. You go into the stock art customizer. You knocked it down to a 3-color design, changed up the copy, and now you're just going to save it. So I'll just go over here and just say save, and I'm going to put this in a Central Cougars folder that I've been filling up with graphics. Okay. And I'm done. And at this point, if I was going to create a web graphic, or maybe I'm going to create a, e-commerce store in Printavo or Inksoft, I could download a PNG file. If I'm going to, upload that to a proposal in Inksoft, or use the mockup creator in Printavo to create a mockup, I would download the PNG file. It's a decent resolution bitmap with the background knocked out. So you put it on a dark colored shirt, looks like it's actually in the shirt. I could download a PDF if I'm going to edit this file in Illustrator, or another external graphics program, or if you're going to edit in CorelDRAW, I could download a CDR file. But I don't really have to do anything here. I have a production ready file. If I'm sending this off to my contract decorator, just download the PDF file and attach it to an email or upload it to my contract decorator's portal. They have everything they need for production. This is a 3-color, color separated design. If you were doing it on light, you're not even going to print the white. It's going to be a 2-color. So, but the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add this to an art approval. So I already have an art approval set up I already have an art approval set up for a lacrosse. So I'm going to add it to this one, or I could create a new one, and then I'm going to hit add file. And so now we've added that to my art approval. I'm going to go over here and click on art approvals. And where is that? That's Central Lacrosse. So I dumped it in there. I already had a few other designs I've been adding. We don't really need this one, so I'm going to delete that one. And then this one, I'm just going to click on it, and then we'll change the background color. I think we're going to go like a kind of a athletic gray on there. So you don't need a pro graphics program anymore. Are you going to still need a Corel or an Illustrator to do advanced editing? Yeah, sure. But like, anybody can do this. You can have a front office person do this. This can be a salesperson. It could be a high school intern. You're just creating a whole bunch of concepts to get in front of different potential buyers within your community or within a range of your community. So that's how it works. It's just super elegant, super easy. And then what you would do to get this over to your customer, you're just going to use the sharing link. We could reorder these. I do like those. These are really good graphics. We could reorder these. I could put notes in here. Hey coach, here's a couple designs I put together for you. But I could also just go over here and share this. And I could say, put an email address and just, if I put in an email address in there. Okay, so, there's Jane. Let's see here. We're going to go over here and put in the copy of the email, and you go that route. Or what I could do is just do a sharing link right here. If we do that, then I can put it into my own email or even put it into a text message if I wanted to. And you notice it says view only. That means the customer can't comment on that web page. Comment, self-explanatory. Comment and approve. They can view, comment, and approve. So depending on their interactivity. So that's how you use your portal. And the portal is just this incredibly powerful tool for collaborating with customers. Now, with that being said, there's a lot of kind of nuance to setting up your portal. And so I'm going to kind of show you, kind of the little kind of tips and tricks for setting it up. And first of all, I want to talk about kind of two methodologies for getting a portal in front of a client. And methodology number one is just using our standard portal. If you click on this link, you're going to go to what is our standard portal, and I'll show you how I set mine up. I went into the art portal function. I already had my logo uploaded. Notice I uploaded it with a transparent background. That's a PNG file. I went to art portal. I enabled it. I also designated that the client can look through all three types of artwork: design ideas, clip art, and fonts. I think it's helpful to have the client be able to maybe look at clip art, fonts, not so much. You could turn that on or off, but I think it's anything you can do to engage a client in the creative process is a good thing. But if you don't feel comfortable, providing that much change capability, you can turn that off. It's super easy. Just uncheck it. And bear in mind, if you uncheck it, just make sure to click on Update View Settings. Then navigation down here, I have gone in and added links to a variety of things. And I created other little artwork showcases in here. And I just put the link to that art approval right here, put in the copy of what I wanted it to say, hit apply. And then once you do that, if you want to reorder these, all you need to do is go over here and just drag it and then reorder. Just make sure when you're done to click on Update Navigation. So there's that going on. Display Need Help option. This is the little button that has the links to the little explainer video that explains to the end user how to interact with the portal. Display Contact Us adds another layer of a contact form, so they don't have to fill out a design request in order to contact you. And it's a great lead generator, which is, in my opinion, one of the best things you can do for getting new leads is to have a bunch of cool artwork on your website, and people see what you're able to do, and they make you look like a bigger deal than you actually are, and then they want to talk to you. So nothing wrong with having a contact form on your website. I think that's generally a good move. Notifications, I get to determine who these go to, and anybody that has a GraphicsFlow account, when you set up your team, go to My Team. So anybody you set up in your org that has an account, they're going to be listed under your team. And so you could have like a popular combination is, if it's just somebody contacting us, maybe this goes to the front desk person or it goes to a salesperson. Okay. If it's a design request, I might have it go to both a salesperson and an artist. So there's visibility on both. And one of the advantages of doing it that way, they can communicate within the design request using the notes function back and forth with each other. They don't have to communicate via an email system, because the art request functionality will allow them it will email them if there's a note. And so they can use that as the way to communicate on that particular art request. They don't have to have a separate thread going on, and all that communication's in the notes field. It's just locked into that design request. And, think of that design request as it's a web page, so you can bookmark it if you want. It's just a web page. Pretty cool. So there's that. So I'm going to just have everything comes into me. Display settings. This is where you organize the way your art portal is going to look. And the way I have mine set up is I have a header background that's in gray, but let's change that to blue. So I'll make that kind of a fun, kind of a slate blue there. And then slate's a little darker, a little more like that. And my header text in that case is going to be white because it'll contrast. And then I've got my buttons matching up to the green in my imaginary logo. A lot of times people will just do, depending upon how their logo is set up, if it doesn't look good on a dark background, you could just switch this over to white, just move it in the upper left-hand corner, and then go to a contrasting color like black or a color from your logo for the text. But I think it looks pretty good. Your header copy there's default header copy. I've doctored mine up a little bit. You can always reset back to default, but mine says, "Welcome to our design collaboration portal." Sounds pretty pro, doesn't it? You can search through this extensive collection of designs, clip art, and fonts to give us an idea of what you're looking for. Our team can customize any design for a project. The key is finding a design that you connect with visually. The copy and clip art are not important, only the layout. Our team will customize the layout for your project based on your input. We suggest you search through styles as well as categories and keywords. To submit an idea for customization, select the image, insert your notes, and select add item, submit design request to start the custom design process. That's it. And then once I get this all set up, I'm just going to click on update. So you'll notice one other thing right here, which is embed code. And we're going to come back to that a little bit later. This is embed code. So let's remember that. So I'm going to take a look at my portal, see what happened. I can click on view portal here, or I can just click on it here, and that'll open up in another tab. So we did change the background color. Yeah, it looks pretty good. We did change the background color. If you went over here and you reduce the amount of copy, that's going to move that bar up a little bit. So just so you know, use a smaller logo, I would move that up a little bit too. But I can send this link out to anybody. I can put this link in an email. I can put this link, embedded into my website so that, I have a little button that says, check out my new graphics. So this is a generic portal that's constructed dynamically using the tools of GraphicsFlow, meaning dynamically, meaning we chose the background, it generated this part of the HTML. We chose the text, it generated that. We chose the logo, put it over here. We added other links in here. Here's your contact form. And that's it. There's no HTML coding. It just generates this web page. So people will just drop a link into their, they're going to drop a link into their website and just says browse graphics, and they're able to see this. Now, mine I did a little differently because I have a domain that I'm sitting on. So when I retire, I don't ever want to lose craigmertens.com because when I retire, I'll probably use that website to do philanthropic things that I'm interested in, or, hobbies, or who knows what I might be doing when I retire. So I always wanted to keep the domain craigmertens.com, and this cost me $10 a year from GoDaddy. I just purchased the domain, and I went into my GoDaddy account and I just configured my DNS settings so that it forwarded that domain to this page. So I just went into GoDaddy, went to forward DNS, copied and pasted the link for my portal in there, hit update, and then it just fires off to craigmertens.com. So instead of seeing this over here as a, big long URL that looks like this, okay, they see craigmertens.com, which is cool. And I don't really have a website there yet, so this is acting like as a placeholder for my website. And the neat part is I can add other links in here. So if I want to drop my Facebook link or my Instagram link, or whatever link I want to drop in there, I can easily do that. So in short, if you don't have a website, you have an art portal, you have a website. Just spend $20 and purchase a domain. It's shocking to me like how easy it is to purchase a domain that it's relative to your business if your business is kind of a general name. And one of the things that people will do is, they'll add like the name of their city to the end of the domain, or TX for Texas. And so it'll be their business name plus TX, because maybe Logos Express is not available, but Logos Express Katy, Texas is. So you don't really have an excuse. Everybody should have at least purchase a domain if you don't have a website. And This is an easy solution. So this is a standard art portal that's been redirected to my domain. So it says craigmertens.com. I think it looks really sharp. It's easy to navigate. It's super easy to search. I can put this in an email campaign. I can pin this in my Facebook. Here's a link to my art portal. I can pin that in Facebook. Lots of latitude. But the cooler way to do it is with an embed. And let me show you some ideas on embeds and what other customers have done. So do you remember that code right here? So if I copy that embed code right there, then I can actually add that portal into my website. Now you got to know a little bit. You don't have to really know a lot about HTML, but you have to know how to go in and configure a website. So what a lot of times people will do is they'll create a link, and they create a landing page, and then they'll copy in the embed code, and they'll create that little portal. So it's basically using what we call an iframe. So this is creating a frame. And so let me show you examples of what other people have done, just to give you an idea. This is the one from the Inksoft demo site. I can actually log in here. I can log into this site and show you how we did this. That'd be fun to do. So, hey, let me log in. So I'm just logged into Inksoft. I'm going to go over to the style editor here. And you'll notice that there's multiple pages in here. And so I'm on page 1. So this is how we create the page. And these are all little blocks, and I can add them and delete them and move. I get in trouble if I mess with this in here. So I have to be really careful about what I'm doing in here. Here's my promo bar. Here's my main navigation. And then I've got the one here that says art portal. And we're displaying the link for that right there. So I don't want to turn that off. But all we did is we created this little landing page, which goes right here. And then when you go into that landing page, we just copy, basically what we do is you create what's called I don't want to mess with this store, but you just create a content block. So which is right here. This would be a content block. Then you got to switch over to HTML mode. So there's a separate mode in here that's for doing HTML versus doing just like copy and paste. And then when you go into HTML mode, which is this little link right here, all you got to do is copy that embed code in here, and that'll populate your portal in there. That's all you got to do. There's nothing more to it. It's just a copy and paste. And most of your HTML editors for any of the common websites, whether it's Square or Shopify or Wix or WordPress, they have something, they have almost an identical command to this where you can copy an HTML code and that'll automatically populate that particular part. So that's, in a nutshell, there's just not a lot. It's just not a lot to it. And you do not have to, do a lot of extra work when you're doing these. Quite honestly, I'll go over to the page here, edit this page. It's just not, there's not much work here. I think it's definitely worthy of, going in and here's your content block. I think it's definitely worthy of going in and spending a little extra time to create a landing page where you can pretty much do whatever you want right here and then put in your portal and you have this very seamless professional look. And I need to make sure I get out of there without saving any changes. I think we're good. Okay. So I'm going to go over and show you a couple more examples of what people have done, some of my favorites. And this is a good one here, and I'll put these in the chat. Regatta did a really great job on theirs, and to their credit, this is pretty funny. So if you're on the live, I'm going to drop this in the chat. If you're not on the live, just go to regattaapparelgroup.com, and this will be right in your face. And so I was showing a client this at the show in Atlantic City, and I forgot. I thought it was on my portal, but I wasn't. It was on their portal, and I submitted a design request. And this poor salesperson has been absolutely hounding me for about a week now. And I was nice enough to finally let him off the hook and said, hey, just want to let you know, this is Craig from GraphicsFlow. We just used your portal by accident in our demo. But I wanted to kind of see what their follow-up things. I knew I was in a drip email campaign. And so what happened when I did the our request, they have an automation that creates the lead and it starts firing off emails on a frequency. And I wanted to see and I got like 4 emails and they're all stacked up. And, hey, I saw you were on the art portal. You filled out a design request. You'd like to find out a little bit more about your project. And I kept getting them. So finally I had to email them and say, hey, let's just let you know, I'm not really a candidate for what you do. And I was super impressed that how they had done that. And that's textbook. That's just the way you should do it. And one of the things that you'll notice here is let's go to their main homepage here. So you go to their main homepage, really nice. And these are great people and really just a terrific company. But you'll notice if you go down here and you go to like Explore a Custom Gallery, right? So if you come in here, they have a gallery of their art. They do really high-end art, and they do a lot of art for, big gift shops. Like, you guys see some who their customers are, but one of their biggest customers is Margaritaville, right? And so the kind of artwork that they're doing in here is, some of these designs have, I know what I would have to pay. I'd have to pay somebody $500 to $1,000 to do that, and the reason that's going to be a 10 to 30 hour job. That's why you can pay that much for one of these designs. And so their challenge is they wanted to have access to the school market within their local area. They're a big printer, but because of SEO, people kept finding them because they're one of the largest printers in their area in Florida. And they just don't do the simple spot color art well. They would have had to have created their own, line of spot color art. And it seems like we just solved that for them. So what they did, which was really clever, is they put this link in here. It says School Showcase. They took some of the designs from GraphicsFlow and they localized those for their, just schools within their area. So it looked like they're doing business with these people, whether they are or not. And then they embedded their art portal in here. Boom. How cool is that? And with very explicit instructions on how to submit a design. And they use this to build their school business. That's how they did it. Because they weren't really wired for that. They were wired for the resort wear business, but now they're in the school business. They also do promotional products and other things. So I thought this was to me, this is like the benchmark. This is like the A+ version of a portal. But I'll show you a couple other really good ones. So here's another one I really like. This was done by Duluth Printing. And simple, clean, it's just right on there. Notice everybody's putting these on their homepage. Like there's a link, like really obvious link to where this, where to access their portal. And so they have, like a little link for create here. And I think they have a really nice website. Honestly, I'm pretty impressed with their website. It's really super clean. Do they have the Inksoft designer on here too? No, they just go straight to the portal. And so if they were I think they are Inksoft. A lot of times if people have Inksoft as well as GraphicsFlow, they'll phrase them a little differently. So they'll say, start designing, and then they'll say browse graphics for the art portal one. But there you go. So that's how you get to their portal. I think theirs is really sharp. I'm going to give that a solid A. Another one, this is another pretty big company. They went a couple steps like how to use the portal. They put the explainer video in here. They did a little wider frame, so they hacked the HTML code to have a little bit wider frame. This is another really good one. Simple one. This client has a Sage website, and with Sage, you can do embeds. So what they did with theirs, they just dropped this button in here. It says Design Ideas. And they just dropped in a button right there into their Sage website. So ad infinitum. It doesn't take a lot of energy to do this. And just, kind of think of it this way. You always have the generic art portal. That's not going anywhere. So whether you use the generic art portal in an email campaign or pin it in Facebook, it's not going anywhere. But you can spend a little extra time and do this embed thing. And it's just super professional. And, you're putting your best foot forward. This isn't artwork that it's to the level of these big online design programs. If you go to the big online design programs, they'll remain nameless. They don't have art like this, and they're designers. They don't. Their art is generally really pretty simple, and in my opinion, I haven't really seen one that knocks my socks off. Maybe you guys have seen one that does. I haven't yet. But this is a very high end, offering here. This graphic right here, this would slot in at any surf shop in Myrtle Beach, California, or Florida, Myrtle Beach. Is Myrtle Beach in Florida? Is it Myrtle Beach in South Carolina? Oh, that I just got that. Just saying. All right. So embedding the portal. So now you got your portal embedded, or maybe you're just using the generic portal. Yeah, how do you promote this? I mean, I think that's the biggest question. How do you promote it? Okay, number one, you have to recondition the way your customers think. And part of that, in my opinion, is drawing a little bit of a line in the sand. So this is how one customer explained it to me, and I thought it was really good, and I'm going to steal it from him. I told him I was stealing it from him. He said, "Listen, when my customers come into me and they have just these rough ideas and they want me to go in and build them something from custom, yeah, I've got the skills to do that, but I don't have the time. And if it's a big giant order, it's 500 pieces, maybe I'll make the time to do it and cook it in, bake it into my cost. But I can't do that on a 48 piece t-shirt order for a youth retreat." So the line in the sand I draw them is I say, "Hey, listen, if you want me to develop custom art, I have to charge you an hourly charge. We charge $50 an hour for custom art. And the reason we charge that is we have to pay somebody to do that, freelancer, and that's what it costs. We just pass that cost on to you. Typically expect anywhere between 1 to 4 hours for a design like that. So you're going to have $200 worth of art charges into 50 shirts. You got $4 extra per shirt just for the art charges. And we're not running a charity here, so we need to, recoup our hard costs for creating that artwork for you." "Oh, yeah, but I can just go to custom make." "Yeah, you can, and you're going to get artwork that you got in custom make. You're not going to get anything this cool." So we can do that, but I have to charge you for art charges, and I have to have 3 to 5 days to get this done, plus any revisions we choose to do. Okay, but we can absolutely do that for you. But there's an alternative. I can send you over to my art portal. Here, scan this little QR code, or let me send you a little email. And if you select one of the designs from my art portal, then I can have something back to you within an hour, and I don't have to charge you art charges, and I'll still go in and massage it and make sure it looks really cool and it's kind of unique to you guys. I don't have to charge you for that, and we can turn that real quick. And so I thought it was really interesting. One of the things that my customer said that I really liked, he said, people want immediate gratification. They're kind of used to that whole Amazon Prime thing. So he says, it's not always the cost that turns the corner for the client where they'd rather use the portal. It's the immediate gratification, because I'll tell them I can get something over to them, same day or within the hour. That's the magic. It's that immediate gratification. And I feel very strongly that, making it easier, in my opinion, it's a race, right? The race is to who the person that moves the customer down the buying process the quickest gets the order, right? So part of the buying process is getting that artwork out of the way. And I've always taught, you guys know if you've been on the webcast, I've always taught that lead with art, because if you're leading with art and you get them excited about the art, you know what you don't have to do? You don't have to be as price competitive. You got to be in the ballpark, but they can't, most customers are going to have a harder time beating you up over price if they have already fallen in love with the art. They know they can't get that same design from somebody else. So I thought that was a really clever way of positioning it, which is, in a recap, is, hey, if you want custom art, I can do it. I got to charge you $50 an hour. Typically, it's going to be $50 to $200 charge plus any charges for revisions, and I need 3 to 5 days. Or you can go to my portal, pick something out. I'll make it look awesome, and I'll have something back to you same day. And there's no extra charge for that. Now, a big part of that strategy, which I think is really important, is painting a picture to your customer of how to use the portal. And the second part of that conversation with my client was, he told me that they give their customers very explicit instructions when they go to the portal. And they tell their client, listen, don't worry so much about clip art. Don't even worry about colors or even what copy. Is just find something that you connect with visually, and we'll make it work for you. So just find something you connect with visually. And so one of the things that I did if you go to our YouTube channel, you can watch a little video on it. But what we're doing every month now is we're doing a little video that explains, how the art drops work. And so I did one for April, and is this the right one? That's the real version for Instagram. We dropped a reel on that too for Instagram. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, you guys get the idea. So this is just a way to illustrate a point, which, these are all graphics and GraphicsFlow, right? But any graphic can become anything. And so in this little reel, I took this design, turned it into a family reunion design. I took this archery design and turned it into a design for a welding company. I took this shark design and which was for a tour, kind of a beachy design, and turned it into a state championship baseball design. So giving your clients explicit instructions on how to use the portal, I think is really important. I would never just send somebody to the portal. I would send them an email with instructions on how to use it. I would have that same type of copy in the actual portal. And then the other thing I would do is I would maybe suggest a few designs. If, I can do that in the form of an art approval, just go and handpick some designs and suggest a few. That's the way that I'm going to work with my customers. I'm going to be involved in the process, but I'm just going to facilitate communication. And so one of the things tools that we provided, and you guys all need to be aware of this, you're going to go to GraphicsFlow.com. You're going to go to blog. And the first thing, because we've pinned this one, the first thing you're going to see is this design drop toolkit. Okay. I'm just going to click on that. And then I'm going to paste that link into the chat, but it's not hard to find. Okay. So the design drop toolkit, we just built this ultimate toolkit to promote your monthly design drop collections for customers. Use it to save time on marketing so you can focus on printing more merch. So what it is, it's all of the instructions for how to do a social media campaign and an email campaign to promote the new art drop in your portal. And so we provide you with the templates with customizable fields for emails, ready-made social media posts with the correct hashtags, so you can post on social media, and any kind of themed text that you might want to incorporate, some ideas on how to do bundled promotions, suggestions on hashtags, and then you can just download this. And this is just such a clever way to promote your portal. And I know people get, busy, and they've got a lot of things going on in their lives. But let me tell you, as being part of the marketing team at our organization, Ictavo, what we do is very strategic and is extremely planned out. And it's not one thing that generates, leads and marketing activity and sales. It's a variety of things. And this is just one more tool in your arsenal. Your social media posting, promoting your art portal and the monthly art drop via just a simple little newsletter, email to your clients. It's all those kind of things. We actually had a record month for what we call SQL, sales qualified leads. We had the highest number of sales qualified leads across all three brands in the brief history of our organization. But when I look at the body of work that we put into that and all the content that we generated, it was very strategic, and that's what resulted in these great results, because we're always fine tuning. So you're generating content, which you are as a content creator. When you're creating a social media post with your art portal and sending out an email blast, you have become a content creator. And I think we all know that it's content creators that are the ones that are the businesses that are really thriving. They're creating things that stimulate people, whether it's, TikTok or Instagram or even Facebook, and they're stimulating people to find out more about their company. And when you're in the business of doing decorated apparel, which is a graphics driven business, you better have some things that look cool. And when you have GraphicsFlow, you've got cool looking art. If you look at the April drop, these are some pretty legit designs in here. These are very retail oriented, very on trend, very hip, very cool designs that look as good as anything you're going to see in the t-shirt shops or in a college bookstore or wherever you do your shopping. And I just think these are really, really pretty terrific. Now it's interesting, when you're doing these, you try something kind of fun here. When you're doing these graphics, if you're going to do a promotion on a design drop, there's no reason for you not to go and localize a couple of these designs. There's just really no reason for you not to do that. And I would encourage it. And, you know, because you can take, I don't know, we can take this tiki design, I don't know how it's going to look, but we can maybe swap that out with like a school mascot or something. So we'll come in here and let's just swap out the mascot first. And we'll put in I don't know what we're going to put in there. We'll put in a bulldog. So we'll put in our traditional kind of fun, boring bulldog. Let's see what we got. Yeah, so we want to drop in this guy. So we dropped in that guy. Maybe reduce the size just a little bit. Okay, move them down a little bit. And that looks good. Go over here, change this to Central. They're the Bulldogs now. Beach Rentals. And we'll change this to Seniors. Right here. Then over here where it says Since, I'm going to change that to 20. And then where it says 20XX, I'm going to change that to 23. And then we don't need this other line right here. Just go and turn it off. Pretty sweet little design. Could change the font. You know, you go over here and click on this and we could switch this out to like a, you know, like a collegiate font, but I actually kind of dig the font. And just swap out the colors. So we'll come over here and we'll make this school colors. So I'll make that, I don't know, we're going to be burgundy for the purposes of that. I don't know if that's going to look good. Yeah, it does look good. And then we're going to go over and take this color and make it gray. So this kind of beigey color here, we're going to make that gray. And then I'm going to actually reduce that to gray too. So we're going to knock the colors down. And same thing here. You see how I'm just reducing colors? That's such a cool feature. And what do we got left? So we got the black. We got a little bit of blue in here. I'll make that. I'm not sure where the blue was, but just be on the safe side. So now you got your 4-color design. Okay. So you're going to save the design. So now you create a gallery of the top 5 schools in your area with one design each from the from the monthly art drop. And you do what Regatta does. You know, you just do this kind of thing. You update a little gallery over here, like what they were doing. You can update a little gallery in your website, or better yet, here, do it this way. Do it like I do. If you go to my portal, what you're going to see is new this month. So I just take the designs from the design drop, go in and tweak them out a little bit, add them to an art approval, drop a page on one, a back page, you know, drop a background onto them, take that link and add it into my, you know, add that link into my portal. And I'm done. So we're going to wrap up. We're going to do that just to show you what I mean by that. So if I come over here and I go to new this month, right? So I'm going to say, let's create an art approval and we're going to call it new this month, new for April. Okay. I'm going to call it that. And then I'm going to go over to my art. And I'm going to go to that. I think I put it in here tonight. Can't remember where I put it. Where did I put that thing? I think I put it in Customizer Designs. Now that I think about it, it's probably in here. Yep, there it is. So I'm just going to add it. And then I'm just going to go down here and add some more. Go to stock art. All the new designs are going to be at the top. And then I can pick out like 3 or 4 of these. There you go. Could pick them all out if I wanted to. Now to reorder these, I'm just going to move that to the top and reorder it. And I would spend the time to go in here and put background colors in here. So I'll just go in here and put some background colors in here. There's that. And I think spending the extra time to put the background colors in there is, in my opinion, is really important. I bet that looks good on brown. Let's see here. Oh, it's got a white background on it. So you guys are kind of getting the idea here. So once we have that, then we have a link. So all I got to do is go to the sharing link and just say, grab the only link right here, view only, copy that view only link, and then dump it into my portal. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to Art Portal here, Settings. I'm going to go in and add this link. So I'm going to go down here and say Add Link. New designs for April. Hit Apply. I'm going to drag that all the way up to the top. Where it says new designs for this month, I'm going to delete that. We don't need it. And then last but not least, super important, update navigation. And guess what you have now? Linked into your portal, you have the gallery of the new designs for April. And that's how you do it. So this is the Art Portal is this great gift that we gave to you guys. It's a tool that lets a small business look like a big business. And you know, having this capability of empowering, you know, this ability to, you know, get ideas and empower your clients with all this creativity, you know, it's a game changer. It's something that makes it possible for you to scale. It's something that makes it possible for you to reach outside your little local area and operate even as a regional or a national company, because you can take this process. Why aren't you prospecting across the United States? If you have a website, you're a virtual business. You know, you don't have to limit yourself to just the local area. So that's the concept behind the GraphicsFlow Art Portal, how you utilize it, how you promote it. But I think the biggest piece of advice that I would give you guys is reconditioning your clients to use your portal first. You know, quit enabling them by, you know, replicating all this garbage artwork that they bring from the internet. It costs you more to produce. There's copyright issues. There's a longer time to get it out to them. If you utilize your portal and promote it and properly train your customers how to use it, they're going to prefer doing it this way. So that's how it works.